Guten Tag. Willkommen in Berlin. Ich heiße Adrian Carr, aber ich spreche nur ein bisschen Deutsch. And that's about it, apart from ordering beer and food. So welcome, everybody welcome. As Gauri said, that was quite an intro there. I've got a lot to live up to, but welcome. This is our biggest gathering, and it's great to see so many familiar faces sitting right next to so many new faces. So we welcome our new customers for whom this is their first Connect event. My role is to set the scene a little bit for what we're going to talk about. Now, firstly, I have to say something. I'm going to say it. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to move on. I'm going to go AI, just because I have to do that, okay? Tech Summit, CEO, got to talk about AI. But actually, I'm going to talk about something different. I'm going to start by talking about Berlin. And it's no surprise, no coincidence that we're here. Berlin is a fabulous city. And it's not just known for its culture and its history, although it has plenty of both, and its resilience. Few cities have weathered more storms than Berlin. You may not know, but Berlin is also known for innovation. Berlin is innovation. It is Europe's capital of creativity. It is Europe's leading startup hub. There are over 10,000 startups based here in the city. There are over 3,000 technology companies here in the city. And when you have that much technology and innovation, there's plenty of money. There's plenty of money flowing from private equity and venture capital, but also billions of euros pours into this city to help fund this. Why? Well, is it tax rebates? What makes Berlin special? Is it more so than Munich or Hamburg or Frankfurt or the many wonderful cities in Germany or Europe? Is it tax rebates, access to funding? Is it talent? Well, it's all those things, but it's more. It's also about a spirit of collaboration. So 3 of our customers that we're proud to have here today, Bosch, Siemens, and Bayer, have their global innovation centers in this city. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. 10 years ago, in 2015, the Berlin local government opened up its data. It was one of the first European capitals to embrace a concept called Open Data Initiative. This was making available vast quantities of municipal or city-based data to just about anyone. Researchers, academics, citizens like you and I, and also businesses. He said, come and get it. Here's the data about running this city. But access to data wasn't the only thing, because access to data is just a beginning. What you need to find next is clarity. Clarity is a clearness of vision. You know, when you're trying to make out the shape of something, and finally the mist or the fog parts, and you can see its shape. That was critical. And what it led to in this city was evidence-based innovation. So all of these researchers and analysts and businesses, they started to look at optimizing public transport schedules, reducing congestion, also improving bike safety. And as they improved bicycle safety, they realized there was a lot of accidents. And this led to redesigning the roads and cycle routes through the city to reduce the accidents. Pollution alerts, energy-saving recommendations, mobility routes, and helping to design a better, greener city. Now, the important point about this is Berlin did not wait. Berlin didn't wait to innovate. It leaned forward. It leaned in here. It was anticipating the challenges of the future and looking for solutions today. You could say that Berlin drove the future, and that's a really nice segue to our theme. Our theme right now is to drive the future at Connect 2025. Okay, that's a nice little story about Berlin, but we're businesses. What does drive the future really mean to us? Well, here's the summary. too long, didn't read. It's spot the signals, it's act early, and be ready. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's take Adidas. Way before it became a big thing, Adidas realized that sustainability was going to change our world. And right now we're all sitting there saying, yes, you know, for a company that operates in Europe, we're trying to get carbon neutral, and that's good. Adidas went further than that. They realized it would change consumer behavior. Eventually, we would start making purchasing decisions based not just on price and quality and brand, but also the impact that a product has on our world, on our environment. They partnered with an organization called Parley for the Ocean. They designed training shoes made out of the plastic dredged out of our oceans. It's quite a thing of beauty, even before, I tell you, they've sold 30 million pairs already. And actually, that was last week's news, so it's probably even more now. That's quite something. Or let's take Oatly. In the 1990s, two scientists were researching to find a solution for people with lactose intolerance. They patented an enzyme which started a plant-based revolution. From tea shops in China to Starbucks all over the USA, they changed the world. They made an early bet. They scaled globally. Again, they didn't wait. They acted. They led. They reshaped the dairy aisle in supermarkets around the world. That's Oatly. Warner Brothers Discovery. Warner Brothers spotted some signals. Now, yes, Warner Brothers has lots of wonderful content, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But what they realized was brands out there were struggling to connect with consumers like us, because they were connecting with our head, and our head goes, yeah, you know, that product is good. I'll look good in that product. Oh, here's something else going on. And what they realized is they had to generate an emotional response to get us to put that product in the basket and buy it. What they also recognize is we have an infinite kind of desire for nostalgia, for storytelling. Even if we've heard the story 1,000 times before, we know how it ends. We love storytelling. We love going back to that moment when we first saw that content and how it made us feel. And seeing that content again takes us straight back down there. So Warner Brothers created something called the Storyverse platform and launched it earlier this year. And its goal is to combine the content with brands to create marketing. Great content. Harry Potter, anybody? Harry Potter? Looney Tunes? One of my favorites is Friends. Anyone here like Friends? Pivot! Oh, no one gets that. I love that moment. It's just great. And when you see that, it puts a smile on your face. And so when Hellman's placed a commercial in the middle of the Super Bowl, recreating when Harry met Sally, you know the one in the cafe, the two actors are a little bit older, but it took us straight back there. It gave us an emotional response. This was a whole new business model. All of this content, it's already paid for. All of this content now available to drive marketing campaigns through the future. Another company you might have heard of is Stibo. 1794. Stibo was founded in 1794 as a print company. And some of you in the room will know that our first contract was to print Bibles for the Danish king. That's a long time ago. But if you bring us back up to date, in the 80s and 90s, a big part of our business, still printing, was catalogs. Clothes and white goods and so on, but also something else. Danish summer houses. Who knew? Now, if you ever look at a map of Germany, it's a huge country. Hugely successful, very populous. There's two things Denmark has that Germany doesn't have so much of. Number one, vast kilometers and miles of white sandy beaches. The second Denmark has is expensive beer. And it's not as good as German beer, just trust me on that one. And so back in the day, in the 90s, Stibo was printing catalogs for summer rental houses. Every year, year after year, page after page, house after house, content after content, photo after photo. Every year, the same stuff. And actually, the same loyal Germans renting the properties. Some say it was one of Denmark's biggest exports to Germany. I couldn't possibly comment. But eventually, someone at Stibo said, there might be a better way. Preparing all the printing for these catalogs, slow, time-consuming, and the data doesn't seem to change from year to year. Is there a better way using this thing called a computer? And in that moment, guess what happened? Master data management was created. There's a pattern among these successes, and the first is be ready. If you are leaning back, half asleep, you will miss it. What is it? It is an opportunity, or it might be a threat. Be ready. Number two is read the signal. Now, in the US military, they talk about spotting the signal in the noise. There is so much data, infinite amounts of data, but which bit do we pay attention to? Which is a signal I need to be listening to and tuned to, looking for a change, looking for the trend? Be ready. Read the signal. Get ready to act boldly. Take a chance. Lean forward. Grab hold of things. And through this process, you can create impact from this moment of clarity. Clarity about what is going on. Data, clarity, action, impact. And that's the point. Data, technology on its own is not enough. We all have a job to do too. When you turn data into clarity, clarity facilitates action, and there's a good chance that action will create impact. And so when we look at Adidas, oops, only once. I'll go. Adidas. Recognizing the impact of the circular economy and connecting it to their world. They turn plastic waste into performance. That's pretty impressive. If you look at Oatly, trying to solve a problem about lactose intolerance led to investigation of enzymes. They created a dairy alternative which became a lifestyle. When you look at Warner Brothers, recognizing the needs of consumers, how we're getting more and more resistant to marketing commercials, and realizing they had the capability to change this with their archive. Existing content into endless, compelling marketing campaigns that we will enjoy. And our own small company, Stibo Systems, a moment of clarity, a question about efficiency, a process, turned paper catalogs into a global industry that we know and love, master data management. And if you don't love it, you're in the wrong room. So here's the takeaway. The future, it's not a wave that we wait for. We're not on a surfboard waiting for that big one and hopefully it will surge us towards the beach. It's not that. It's a journey into the future, on a road, a super highway with turnoffs to left and right and up and down and diagonally. And we need to choose to take the wheel, to steer whatever venture we're in to its maximum impact. You're at the wheel. You're at the wheel. So your job, our job, is to anticipate the change. Change is going to come and keep going. We're only at the beginning of the world transforming with AI. Those with the same color hair as I can remember how the internet changed. It changed the way we think about things. AI is going to go way beyond that, way beyond that. And it won't be the last change, there will be more. So anticipate the change. Innovate boldly. There's that word. Take a risk. Experiment. Lead with purpose. You know where you're going. Take that purposeful step forward. Lead with purpose. I think most of you will agree, in most situations, it's better to lead than to follow. Berlin showed us this. They didn't hope for innovation. They didn't wait for something to come from governance or the EU or the world markets. They took a step with some risk. There are many governments around the world that won't release municipal data because of fear. But they didn't. They stepped forward and they opened up and they let collaboration, teamwork that this city is famous for, combined it with data. Trustworthy data. Trustworthy data. And it transformed this city. And so now it's our turn to take that wheel. It's our turn to anticipate the trends, to innovate boldly, and to lead with purpose. And so it's our turn to drive the future. Thank you.